Hello. All right. Little bit of housekeeping. Hello, Lynn. Hello, Mona. Hello, Donna. A little bit of housekeeping, ladies. It was brought to my attention maybe yesterday or the day before that there may be some new options on YouTube for muting. And so I want you to look and see if you see a mute button. I want you to look to see if you see the microphone. If you hear me, can you please tell me you hear me, please? Because I had some issues with people being able to hear, and it wasn't device specific. So for some, it was on an iPad they couldn't hear, but then others could. So just want to make sure you can hear me. And I'm really close to the computer now. I go there, and it's not that far. It's probably about 7 or 8 feet away. So loud and clear. Great. Good, Stevie. All right. Thank you. And then hopefully the rest of you hear me as well. But after the class, it was brought to my attention that there was some new mute button. Um, oh, look at this. Watch this. I just saw something fun. Oops. Where did it go? I thought oh, there it is. Do you guys see that poll? Could you please click the poll if you hear me or if you don't? I don't know if you could see it, but I see it. Okay, perfect. I see that you can hear Donna. All right, great, ladies. Anything anybody would like to ask, share, or discuss? Please let me know. So I'm on another summit today. Actually, I'm on the summit, and it's Midlife Uprising. And she asked me to create a practice that would show people that actually yoga is not this crazy, scary thing that it's depicted to be by a lot of the images out there. Often people think, I'll say the number one thing people say to me when I ask them about practicing yoga, or I tell them I'm a yoga therapist, the number one thing I hear is, I'm not flexible enough. And yoga does not require physical flexibility, it requires mental flexibility. Mental flexibility to only do what you can do, and to realize that it doesn't mean you have to look like this in the posture, but you could look like this. So anyway, it's on my Instagram. You could go on there and join for free. It's also on my Facebook. And Debbie Robinson Wellness is my Instagram and my Facebook. And you could join for free. And my talk today wasn't really a talk. I created a free 32-minute practice that was gentle yet effective, keeping the spine limber, the body limber and strong. And I think it's titled something like Keep Your Joints Dancing, because that's super important to have mobile joints, whether you have bone issues or not. So go there and see that, and you'll be able to watch that video. The other thing I was going to say is, I don't know. All right. Well, if there are no questions, I'm going to go back there. Oh, Shami. Oh my gosh. How awesome is this? So Shami is someone I'm working with privately, and she is in England, and she is practicing with me. Shami, I am so happy to have you here. That is awesome. Well, good for you for being here. Great. So I have a really great practice and plan for you ladies today, unless, of course, anybody else has anything. Did you guys get to do my poll? This is new for me. Oh, the ever-evolving. All right. Well, I could see 5 votes say yes. So we're happening. All right, perfect. Okay. All right. Without further ado, ladies. All right. Let me make sure that everything is coming up roses. What's that song? Everything is coming up roses, or whatever it is. All right. Today we're going to begin in a seated position. And then we're going to begin our practice after we begin in the seated position. Then we're going to move to standing. And the reason for this is because every single day, almost every single day, if not every single day, I do something to strengthen my body, whether it is my balance, my joints, my alignment, my actual bones themselves, the muscles that stabilize and mobilize my bones, whatever it is, all day, every day, I find the opportunity to strengthen my body. And I'm sure it's because of my journey and not being able to do very much when I was in my late 40s, which made me realize how important it is that to keep going, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And I know that because I did. So maybe that's my driving force. I don't know. But I know that many of you actually have that desire to be strong and to be fit and to do something on a daily basis. And when I show up on a daily basis to do something for my body, it's typically in a standing position, because most of our day we are standing. And of course, when I'm in a seated position, I'm always trying to find that alignment. And so I want to begin today's practice first in a seated position to do a breath work, which is a really wonderful breath breathing technique. And I've been fortunate enough to study this with many of, I will say, the world's top teachers. One in particular in India, O.P. Tiwari, is considered to be maybe the oldest living pranayama teacher. And I believe he was in his 90s when I practiced with him in 2017 for the first time. So I really want to share this with you and share tools with you to create your own treasure chest for healthy aging, for healthy bones. And so today there'll be a lot of different things for you to do, to learn, so that you can actually bring in on a daily basis something to focus on strengthening your body, your balance, your bones, and some facet that will keep you healthy, mentally, emotionally, biochemically, and musculoskeletally, because those are all the three areas where breakdown occurs as we age or from chronic stress or stress in general. Okay, so let's begin in a chair. And one thing about in a seated position, we could come into a slouch position, which is what a lot of people do. And I'll tell you this, and maybe you'll start watching people the way that I do. If you look at somebody in a slouch, the low body is so far away from the back of the chair, and where the heart is, the shoulder blades, is what's near the chair. Now, this is an accentuated slouch, but actually even now cars are being manufactured so that the headrest is forward to support this poor posture that so many people have. And I just did a 1,000-mile car ride, and I did most of the driving. And it was so uncomfortable because it is a newer model car. And sure enough, the headrest was pushing me like this. And I was showing my daughters what it's doing to me. And I had to put something behind my back to make this happen, because I focus on my posture all the time, every day. I focus on aligning my joints. And if you have osteoporosis, it's super important, because the breakdown in the body can begin here. This is where 50% of the fractures are, and that will create even more things from happening. So really being very aware of your spine is important. So instead of coming to a chair and sitting back like this, can you instead bring yourself here and take one buttock at a time back, so that your pelvis actually moves back. Your spine grows out of your pelvis, your head goes out of your pelvis. If you would like at this point to sit back, you could, where you're being supported a little higher up the spine, or see what happens if you sit like this. And if you soften the tension of the hip flexor muscles here, maybe walk your feet a little more forward, a little wider, and see if you could find comfort and allow this gentle activation of your rector muscle group, which helps to support your spinal health. So do what's appropriate for you. The tushy goes back, shimmying one buttock at a time, letting the low back go back. And then let's close our eyes and feel that in your body. From here, maybe moving the feet away a little bit wider, whatever's appropriate for you. If you are shorter than 5'3", maybe having something underneath your feet may be helpful. And if you're taller than 5'8", maybe sitting on a blanket folded may be more comfortable to elevate your body, so that the hip joint isn't too flexed or not flexed enough. And then go ahead and open your eyes. The breathing technique we're going to do today is called alternate nostril breath, known as Nadi Shodhana in the philosophy of yoga. Traditionally, the energy starts at the feet. There's anywhere from 72,000 energy channels, and I've heard even higher numbers. And the energy comes up the body and then crisscrosses, and the right side ends in the left nostril and the left side ends in the right nostril. So the nadis, which are the energy channels, and shodhana, the up in this area here. So the nadi shodhana is where those energy centers converge here. And so there is research that shows that when we do this and we actually focus on breathing out of one nostril at a time, we recalibrate or rebalance brain energy. And so that is really important because the word balance is very important for bone health, for healthy aging, and something that is at the forefront for most of us that are getting older is the word balance and not falling and always having balance. So we're going to do the alternate nostril breath. And the hand positions, you're going to do what's appropriate for you. This is my right hand. I learned to do this with my right hand. There are traditional aspects that you may learn to be done this way, 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 but it also needs to be applicable to you in your life. This breath is typically done after a cleansing practice in the morning. So you would have cleaned your nostrils. And so the mucus, there would be less debris there to get stuck when you're closing off one side or the other. So let's clear our nostrils here. You could grab a tissue if that's near you and you want to do that, or if you have a lot of stuff in your nose, or take a finger and close off one nostril and clean one nostril and then the other. So you can have a nice free flow in your breath. The hand position is up to you. You could use your thumb and your pinky, and you could take the bridge of the nose where that round part of your nostril is, and if you press even ever so lightly right there, it's enough to restrict the flow of breath in that one side at a time. And I've also been taught that you put fingers in your forehead and do it like this. So really, I want it to be comfortable for you, and also to be comfortable for your arm while you're up here. So I'm going to guide you through this. I'm going to use a 4 count for the inhale and a 4 count for the exhale. And we inhale through one nostril, we hold for 4, we exhale through one nostril and hold for 4. That's what we're going to build up to. So I'm going to do a couple of rounds at first where we're just going to inhale, close it off, exhale, inhale, close off, exhale. So we'll do a couple of rounds to inhale and exhale. And then I'd like to add that retention of 4, which can be a challenge for some of you and maybe something you need to work up to. So do your best, leave the rest. That's what my teacher in India always says. And I love that because it just takes this whole like seriousness of anything and just pushes it out the door. Yoga is a self-care practice. It's what is the best for you. So do what's appropriate for you. Sit nice and tall. If you make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders, that'll be supportive of your posture and easier on the elbow joint. Sorry, easier on the shoulder joint. Maybe on the elbow joint as well. So you're going to prepare by bringing your thumb to close off the right nostril. So closing off the right nostril, closing your eyes, begin to breathe in and out through your left nostril. Notice your breath. Notice anything else you notice. Breathing in and out through your left nostril. And let's begin. Take a big exhale through your left nostril. Now we begin. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Close off the left, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Close right, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Close left, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Close right, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Close left, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Close right, exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Adding on, inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left, 2, 3, 4. Continue on your own, counting in your mind, holding or stay with just the breath. Count, move your nostrils, closing off one, closing the other. If you'd like to add on, hold at the end of the exhale for a count of 4 also. So inhale 4, hold for 4, exhale 4, and hold out for 4. Finish the round that you're on, and then take 2 more complete rounds, starting with the inhale from the left nostril and ending with the exhale from the left nostril. When you finish, bring your hands onto your lap. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe through both nostrils. Bring your hands together. Rub your hands together. Cover your eyes. You could allow the heel of your hand to rest on your cheekbones if you'd like. Let the heat of your hands move to the eyes. Feel that heat energy. And gently allow your eyelids to blink themselves open. And then bring your hands down. And then notice how you feel. Notice what the quality is of your energy, of your emotions, the way you feel. So that was about 8 minutes of that practice. And this has actually been proven to show that it actually stimulates parasympathetic nervous system stimulators, the nervous system, and also that it has an effect in our brain. So this is actually a very powerful way to balance your mental energy, to bring you to the present moment, kind of a way to just slow down, to stop yourself, to realign, to recalibrate. It can be so healing when we allow our body to tap into its innate healing capabilities, whether we're speaking about anything that we've got going on, a disease, an issue in our tissues, or bone metabolism. So your bone remodeling that's taking place all day, every day. When we calm our nervous system, we actually have an effect on that, the bone metabolism as well. The thing to remember when you're doing the alternate nostril is the whole sequence. The beginning of the sequence is when you inhale at your left nostril, you exhale at the right, you inhale right, and you exhale left. That is one whole round. So whenever you start your alternate nostril, begin by inhaling into the left. And that's how you start your practice. Alternate nostril breath. Nadi Shodhana. Okay, so now I feel super, super relaxed. All right. So let's begin the warm up. Bring yourself forward in your chair to the very front edge of your chair. Take your legs pretty wide. Take your hands on your thighs. Let's bring your chest forward and lengthened, lifting and opening up the front of your chest. And then push your body weight over towards one side. Long spine the whole time here. And then bring yourself towards the back, still keeping that nice long spine, over to the other side, and then forward again. The breath that we do with this is inhale when your body comes forward, exhale when your body goes back. And if you close your eyes, you'll actually feel the stretch in the waist, in the low back muscles, in the side muscles, in muscles that are attached to the lumbar spine, down towards the legs. See if you can feel all of that. The stretching of the muscles, the ligaments, and the tendons in the middle body, the pelvis, the hips, the low back. Inhale when you come forward, exhale when you go back. And then bring yourself back to center. Get tall in your spine. Bring that length into your spine. Take an exhale. Inhale to come forward. Go in the other direction, not the opposite direction, the other direction. Inhaling forward, exhaling to the back. Pay attention to our words. Pay attention to the energetics of the words we use. Notice when the negative mind comes in, the negative comments that we make to ourselves, the negative energy, and try to align and to bring in, and to resonate, and to vibrate with positive words, positive energy. Inhale when you come forward, long, tall spine. Exhale when you go back. Add a nice smile to your face. One more circle. And bring yourself back to center. 6 movements of the spine. Let's explore those. First, let's do the side bending. Bending your spine side to side. Bringing the arm up alongside your ears. For those with limitations in the shoulders, maybe yours looks like this or like this. Whatever you could do, bend your body side to side. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale, exhale. Bringing yourself back to center. Let's add rotation. Rotation, safe rotation, starts here, lower ribs on up. We don't have the joints in the lower lumbar to rotate. So when you rotate from the bottom part of your body, you're using more muscles. Part of the reason why there's so many issues with low back because of all this movement without activating the core in the front. So before we do our rotation, the core is like a corset in the lower part of the torso. And if you think about zippering up a tight pair of jeans, if you had to lay down on your bed and the zipper on a tight pair of jeans, you'd have to suck your tummy in away from the zipper. So try that right now. Feel that you're zippering in. That's going to activate the pelvic floor at the base with an inward, upward movement and around the body and then back towards the spine. So zipper, zipper, zipper. Feel this up, in, and up movement as you zipper, 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 zipper. Feel inside you some deep contraction. So keep that there. Let's take your hands across your chest and keep your head, actually put your hands here. I want your head to go along for the ride. Exhale, and then inhale to the side, exhale back to center. Inhale and exhale. Feel the lower ribs, feel the stretching of obliques and the muscles in the back, which are called quadratus lumborum, rotational muscles of the trunk and support muscles. These are some deep core aspects and stabilizing aspects of your body. So feel that stretch there. And then bring yourself back to center. Now we're going to introduce that rotation up here in the thoracic and in the cervical. Let's take your head and your upper body. Keep your elbow at heart height. Take your elbow to the side so the shoulder blade goes onto your back. Shoulder blade helps to keep you safe in that upper spine. And then let your head follow as well, looking around to the side. That's your inhale. Bring yourself back to center. Inhale. You can even look at your elbow or keep your eyes in alignment with your elbow to safely rotate. Feel this in your body. When we do the rotational movement in the spine, we're trying to pull on the vertebra in a rotational force from many different angles to create bone stimulation. And you need to be careful. We want our nice strong spine, but we also want to be very safe when we add that rotational force. So learning how to be your own chiropractor, your own physical therapist, your own x-ray machine to feel and notice what's happening in your body when you add these movements. Let your hands go a little bigger. Look a little farther. If it's appropriate for you, use your opposite hand to add a little more force if it's appropriate for you. You inhale when you look. You exhale when you come back. One more. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to go into flexion and extension. Now, flexion is a no-no. Forward folding is a no-no with osteoporosis. Where it's a no-no is in the spine. You don't want to bend your spine. You want to bend your hips when you come forward. So actual forward bending comes at the hip joint and not at the spine. So let's move our spine here. We're not going to bend our spine forward into a flexion position. We're going to focus on that extension or that back bend in your spine. This is what you need to bring into your life on a daily basis. So bring your awareness to your pelvis and let's initiate the movement in the pelvis because the spine begins in the pelvis, the sacrum and the coccyx bone. So sit away from the back of the chair Take your hands on your thighs. See if you could rock on your rocking chair legs, your pelvis. Can you rock forward and backwards on your pelvis? And try not to make this be your upper body. Notice how my head actually stays stationary. I'm not going like this. My head is here. My pelvis is rocking forward and backwards. So warming up the lumbar spine, warming up the pelvis. Let's take this a little farther up the spine on the extension. Take an exhale. And as you inhale, slide your hands back, let your elbows go underneath your shoulders and beyond. Shoulder blades slide onto the back towards the center of the spine. Move them towards each other, open your throat, really bend the upper spine. This is your inhale. As you exhale, come back to neutral. You could let the low back move into flexion by rocking towards the back edge of the rocking chair legs, and inhale into extension. Long spine. Bend your spine, move the vertebra forward and backwards over your discs. Try to get that bend to come into the upper spine. One more. And then bring yourself back to center. So those are the 6 movements of the spine. Let's find those 6 movements here in these 7 bones in the neck. So you're going to take an exhale and then push the tip of the ear straight up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale back to center. Inhale, the ear straight up. Exhale. Inhale. The eyes are still forward. The nose is still pointing forward. You're not adding rotation. You're not trying to get towards your shoulder. You're lengthening one side of your neck and then the other. Bring yourself back to center. Inhale to look over the shoulder. Back to center. Inhale the other shoulder. Back to center. Keep your chin parallel to the ground. Eyes could be open or closed. Inhale. Exhale. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to stretch through flexion and extension in these 7 vertebrae here. Keep the rest of your spine stationary. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, hands are on the thighs. Teeth are together. Take an inhale and then exhale. Your chin points straight down towards your chest. Feel that stretch in the back of the neck, the upper back, maybe down to the shoulder blades. Teeth together. Inhale, lead with your chin forward and up. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, chin up. One more. Bring yourself back to center. Everything in the body is connected, and we're all wrapped and bound with fascia. So stretching the neck sometimes can release tension in the low back, the hip, the knee, the foot, because everything is connected. So all of these different movements that we do have the ability to heal in many different parts of your body. Okay, so we're going to come to a standing position. We're going to do a couple things to come up. We're going to warm up the hip joint here. You're going to begin with your legs wide and have your hands here on your thighs. Elbows will be out to the side. We're bending and unbending hip joints. So come to the very front edge of your chair. Walk your feet back closer to the chair. Toes are pointing out. Take your hands on your thighs. Bring your body weight forward. And when you come forward, you're bending your hip joint. Feel how your glutes activate here. Push the heel of the hand into the legs and take an inhale. And as you exhale, push your feet into the floor, keep your spine straight, unbend your legs, and then sit back down. Push your hands into your legs, come up, and then go back down. Hands into the legs. Keep your front spine nice and long and open. Use the power of the muscles. Exhale, push away from the floor, push away from your legs. And then bring yourself back to center. A little more challenging. Some of you may be able to do this. Bring your feet so that they are in front of you. Try to get your heels to touch the ground. Let's take your hands on your waist, elbows by your sides so your spine stays long. Bring your body weight forward. Push your heels into the floor. Inhale. Exhale, unbend and lift. Keep your spine long when you do this. A little momentum. Unbending hips, unbending knees. Mostly unbending hips. On the next one, keep your head up, keep your spine long, bring yourself slowly all the way up. Felt a lot of burning there in my quads, definitely strengthening for the quadriceps. So let's move the props off to the side and warm up. When you bend down to get your props, tushy goes back, front spine stays open. You're bending your hips. Take your props off to the side. Let's warm up the feet. Start to bend your feet, lifting your heels away from the ground. Try to bend all 5 toes on both feet evenly so you're not just coming to the inside. You don't let your knees go in. Working on that proper flexion in the toes, flexion in the ankles. Take one foot back, flip the toes under, stretch the top of the feet, let the toenails touch. Maybe you need to be with a chair. Take your foot back even more, bend your standing leg. Depends on what's going on in your body. So do whatever you need to do to get a stretch, to feel a stretch in the feet, in the ankles. And come back. We're going to stretch our ankles. I want you to try to roll towards the pinky toe edges of your feet. Maybe you need to hold on. Maybe you need to do one at a time. I definitely feel both of my ankles stretching quite a bit. So for me, this feels safe and okay. You explore what feels appropriate for you. Dancing ankles. Always. We want our ankles to be able to dance. And then go ahead and come back. So I'd like us to do, I call this hula. Take your feet wider than your body. Sway your hips from side to side. Really feel that stretch coming into posterior hip capsule, an area that we do a lot of stimulation with the standing postures in yoga. Let your waist get short. Let your waist get short. Top of the pelvis towards bottom ribs. Top of the pelvis towards bottom ribs. So it's an intentional warming up of the lateral chain of the body. And then take your legs, shake your legs. Let's warm up our hip joint. So take your leg across and to the side, across and to the side. Come back, across to the side. Also maybe a little bit of a balance warm up. Come back to center. Take your hip and roll your hip around. So whatever you need to do, you could be down here with the knee. Let it be the knee that's moving. Or you could be bigger. So whatever your body is doing. Imagine there's a Sharpie marker on your kneecap, and in front of you is a paper, and you're drawing circles around in one direction and then in the other. Strong hips. Come back. And that'll really show you what the muscles that mobilize your hip, where you're at with that level of strength as well. So you could go slow, you could be down here, whatever you need. Move your kneecap around, chair if you need it, wall if you need it. one direction and then in the other. And then bring yourself back. So let's begin with the postures. Coming into Tadasana Mountain, posture of alignment, great place to begin, great place to find in your body throughout the day. So stacking your joints, beginning in the feet. Feel the feet, the toes, the heels, the pinky toe edge, the big toe edge, the arch lifting, equal forward, backwards, equal right and left. Look straight ahead. Fingers are reaching down and alongside your body. Heart is lifted. Tailbone is pointing down towards the ground in between the two heels at the back. Gaze is forward. Feel that alignment in your joints. Shoulders are alongside your body, not rounding forward. Chin parallel towards the ground, head on top of the spine. Nice long spine. Close your eyes if you feel confident to do so. Deep breaths all the way down to your feet. Is your weight even? Forward, backward, side to side. One more breath. From the Tadasana, can we move into chair, bending our hips, bending our knees. So activating your core, zipper up like you're putting on a really tight pair of jeans. Zipper, 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 up to your belly button. Take your hands forward. Push your tushy back and begin to bend your hips. Bring your low belly towards your top thighs. Look forward. Looking forward, zipper up your belly, press your belly button to your spine, tailbone down in between the heels. Reach long with your fingers, arms are straight. Slide the shoulder blades onto your spine. Slide the tip of the shoulder blades down towards your pelvis. Lengthen your spine. Try to get your belly closer to the top thighs. Weight is in the heels, lift your toes up. Don't let your knees go in towards each other. Knees point forward. Bend a little deeper if you can. Raise up more with your torso. One more breath. Bring yourself back up. Bring yourself into Tadasana. Look straight ahead. Rearrange your joints, your alignment, your breath. One more breath. We're going to come into a warrior three position from a Tadasana, loading up the hip. So go ahead and get a block and get a chair maybe. So I'll teach us with the block and the chair, and then you decide what's appropriate for you. So facing your chair, you're going to begin in Tadasana. So find that alignment. Find the alignment from the feet, forward, backward, side to side, front of the foot, back of the foot. Bring your hands onto your waist. Push your body weight onto your left foot. Take your right foot back. The toes are touching, all the tips of the toes. The warrior three is flexion of the hips. So we're bending at the hip, not at the spine. Slide the elbows towards each other. That'll keep the shoulders on the back of the spine. You're going to begin to keep the front of the spine open and start to tilt forward. Maybe you can lift the right foot off of the ground. Maybe you stay here, or You could bend all the way forward if that's available to you, or take your hand on the back of the chair. Front of the spine stays open, loading deeper into that left hip. And push your weight back so you're on that leg. Definitely feel that weight. If you can go a little deeper, keeping your spine open, maybe you could come down a little bit more on the chair, push your body weight back, lift the right leg if that's available to you. Now when you're here, if you'd like, you can lift the left hand off. And if you're strong enough, you could actually lift the right hand off, if that's in your practice. Do what's appropriate for you and your body. Take one more breath. To come out, keep your throat open, the front of your spine open, bend your standing leg, put both feet down on the ground and bring yourself up. The forward folds take place in the hip, not in the spine. We want to strengthen our hip joint in all of these different ranges of motion. So stay safe when you do this. Challenge yourself appropriately. When you come into this from a more aligned position, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. So be gentle with yourself. If it feels a little harder coming in this way. Starting in Tadasana, mountain pose. Stacking the joints. Feel the front of your feet, the back of your feet, the sides. The right leg, the left leg. Bring your hands onto your waist. Bring your left foot back on your tippy toes. Bending at the hip joint, you start to bring the belly closer to the top thigh. You start to tip yourself forward. When it's at the place where you need the chair, if you need the chair, then you can put your hands on the back of the chair or on the seat of the chair. Wherever it's appropriate for you, keep your head lifted, keep your spine long. Lift the left leg if it's appropriate to do so. The bend is in that right hip joint. Keep the weight in that leg so you're not so heavy on the seat if you have the seat. Left leg is lifted. If you would like to bring the right arm up, you could bring the right arm up. If it's appropriate to do so for you in your body, maybe you could bring both up. Keep your head active and lifted, the front of your spine open and long. Take one more breath. To come out, you could bend the standing leg, take the pressure out. Keep the front of the spine long, bring yourself up and bring yourself out. Come to Tadasana. Find that alignment in your body, alignment in your mind, and alignment in your breath. Go ahead and shake your limbs. Take tension out wherever it may be. So I'd like to do the Warrior One, which I'd also like to do 2 versions of that. So there's a Warrior One and there's a crescent pose. Sometimes the Warrior One's a little bit challenging for people because the Warrior One, the back foot is angled in a little bit, and the Warrior One is always trying to move the hips forward. And this tension and torquing action in that back leg can be a bit much for some. So if it's too much in your hip there, you could come into what's called crescent, where your toes are pointing forward and your back heel's off. It is a little bit more challenging though to do balance when you're in the crescent posture. So it's going to be up to you. The foot can stay flat and you're constantly trying to bring a torquing action into the hips here, or the back foot is off and you come into your crescent. So you're going to decide what you would like to do, and I'd like to help you set up appropriately for this. So for the Warrior One, let's take the chair to the side. Bring one foot forward and one foot back. This is one of the beautiful aspects of yoga for osteoporosis, is what we do with the hip joints and all these different angles, and then load down into them with flexion to create forces from many different angles to create very strong hips. Toes are pointing forward. You're either going to have your foot at the angle here where you have your foot on the ground, or if that feels really uncomfortable, you could point your toes forward and lift your heel off the ground. Pay attention to here to how that back leg feels. This is a pretty deep hip extension. For those of you with any kind of hip issues like torn labrum or hip issues, might not feel so great. So if that's you, then make your stance a little more narrow, maybe put a bend in that leg so there's a little less torquing on the front of the hip joint. And that was me. That's why I had to modify this for years with my hip issues, which is why I'm sharing that. So creating the forces that are appropriate for you and your body so that you can, it's about what you can do and not about what you can't do. So for the warrior one foot is forward, one foot is back, toes are angled in, or come into the crescent with the heel off the ground. Let's enter this here. Take your hand down alongside your body, front spine nice and long. Take an exhale. Inhale by bending the front leg, bringing your hand up. Go slow here. Let's introduce this flexion into the joints. Inhale. And then one more, come in and hold. So you're either here in the crescent or your foot is down and you're bringing your hips forward into the warrior one. Modifying according to your body. You could bring both hands up if you'd like. Let's hold this for 30 seconds. Front spine open. Feel that stretch on the front of your body. Look forward, look up. Keep adding a back bend to the upper spine if that's appropriate for you. One more breath. Keep your head lifted, keep your front spine open. Bring yourself forward and out, and then find your Tadasana. Regulate your breath. The practice of yoga goes back and forth between sthira and sukha, effort and ease. So bring in the effort and then find the ease. Let's go to the other side. Bring the chair, if you're going to be using the chair, to the other side. And then let's find that stance here. Bring one leg forward and the other leg back. Either in that warrior one, where the foot's on the ground, toes are angled in, and then the hips are moving towards the front, pulling a lot of forces here, or the modification of the crescent pose, which helps to minimize, especially if you bend the knee, some of that pulling on the front of that hip joint. So of course we want to have tension in front of the hip joint, but you want it to be appropriate to you, to your body, to your issues, to whatever's going on. So find whatever stance you're going to find in your body. Toes are forward, hand is down alongside your body. Let's take an exhale. And then inhale, push your heel into the ground, keep your front spine open, head lifted, loading down into your joints, bending your hip, bending your knee, and then exhale to come out. Inhale to enter, and exhale to come out. Inhale to enter, come here and stay here. Stay down here, both hands up if that's appropriate for you. And then finding the back bend in the upper spine, arms are moving back, shoulder blades are helping to serve your heart up. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. Keep your head lifted, keep the front of your spine lifted as you come forward and out. Find Tadasana. And go ahead, bring yourself out. Let's come into the balance postures. Half moon, artish, and I'd like to use a chair. You could use a block here if that's appropriate for you, putting a block on the ground. So doing whatever's appropriate for you. The toes point underneath the chair or towards the chair or towards the parallel to the wall if you're using the wall. And then keeping your spine long as you bend your hips to enter this. Bring your hand onto the chair. Try a tripod hand instead of a flat hand so that you're less likely to load into that hand. Then bring your weight onto that standing leg. Make sure you feel secure in that hip. Toes are here. And then zipper up like you have a tight pair of jeans on. Contract your core. Flex the foot and start to lift the leg up. And then you open up your body. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. You bring your arm up into the sky. Leg in the sky is lifted and very active. Zipper, zipper, zipper up your core. Away from your pelvis. Rotate your upper trunk. Choose something to gaze at that doesn't move to help stabilize your balance. Eyes are a part of balance. Take one more breath. You're going to bend the leg. Take your hand on your waist. Bring yourself up, bring yourself out. Bring yourself into Mountain Tadasana to recalibrate. Let's go to the other side. Chair, block, whatever you're going to do. Doing this against the wall is really nice too, because you could really focus on the strengthening aspect of the posture and not have too much balance aspect. So when you come down, make sure you don't bend your spine. When you come down, you want to bend your hip joint and not bending your spine. So look forward, spine is nice and long, coming onto a tripod for hands. Contract your core, zipper, zipper, zipper up your core, and start to lift your leg, actively lifting the leg, rolling in that hip joint so that your hips point forward, your heart points forward, lifting your leg. Zipper, zipper up, lengthen your spine, rib cage away from pelvis, long spine, little rotational force if you can. Take one more breath. Bending that standing leg, keeping your head lifted, bring yourself out, spine is long. Coming to center, hands are down alongside your body, spine is long. Deep breaths here. So we're going to come down onto the ground. So let's do tree posture, posture of balance. Take your Feet a little closer together, so not quite hip distance. Feet are a little closer together. You could bring your hands on the waist, hands down alongside your body. You're going to push your body weight onto the side. Come onto your tippy toes. And then you're going to move your knee out to the side and bring your foot up in between your ankle and your knee. Push your foot into the ground, your foot into your leg. Get nice and tall, zipper up your core. Hands are reaching down, or you bend your arms, bringing your arms up, or the hands are in your body. Do whatever you can do. Look straight ahead at something to focus on, to keep your awareness and attention. Take one more breath. Bring your knee forward, bring your hands down, bring your leg down, realign yourself. Reach down, find that mountain posture of alignment. Move over to the other foot, onto the tippy toes, knee out to the side, foot in between the ankle and the knee. Reach the hands down or out to the side, whatever's appropriate for you. Find your gaze. Find your point of focus. Last breath. Shake, shake, shake. So let's move the chair off. Grab your blanket. Bring the blanket onto the ground. Let's bring ourselves down. When you come down, bending the hips, not the spine, keeping the throat up. Try to really load in your hip joints here, your knees. Bring your blanket underneath your body. So we're going to do side plank, which is a very challenging posture. Side plank, we roll onto our side. Very challenging for a lot of people. So the modification, for those of you that are unable to do that, you could stay on one leg, have one leg down and one limb up. So you're going to choose what is appropriate for you. Maybe near a wall might be better for you, or you can be here. Let's take one foot back and then the other. Keep your feet together. Lift your pelvis up and roll onto the pinky toe edge of that side. And then bring your arm up in the sky, pushing away from the ground with your feet, pushing away with your hand, lengthening your spine, lift your heart. Deep breaths. Lift your pelvis. And then dismount nicely. Bring yourself up. Shake your wrist. I'll go to this side to face you. Bring your hands onto the ground. Bring your feet back one at a time. Let your feet touch. Lift your pelvis up and roll onto the pinky toe edge of this side. Bring your hand up into the air. Deep breaths. Lengthen your spine. Rotate your heart forward. Push into the floor a lot with the pinky toe edge. That'll be helpful. Last breath. Bring yourself out. Bring yourself up. If you're able to sit on your heels, sit on your heels, or stay on a kneeling position. Close your eyes, allow yourself to catch your breath. Effort and ease, balance between sthira and sukha. So let your breath recalibrate. Breathe down to your pelvis, breathe down to the ground. And then we're ready for more. We're going to do a plank, but we're going to do a dolphin plank, very core specific. Think about bringing these low ribs towards the top thighs when you're in this. So really activating that lumbar spine area, this part of your body to lift up. We'll do a 30-second hold with the dolphin. It's a forearm plank. If you'd like to get a block and put a block between your hands, you can, or you can come down here. So let's begin with our knees a little farther back onto our blanket. Bring your elbows forward. You could stay here in the modification, activating your core to lift your low back up, or flip the toes under. Bring your knees away from the ground. Press your arms into the ground, the hands, the forearms, the elbows. Lengthen your spine. Push your weight back through your heels. All 10 toes make a connection. Don't let your head hang. And then go ahead and lower your pelvis. Bring yourself into Sphinx, stretching the front of the body. Let your feet be as wide as your mat here. Soles are up towards the sky. Push your hands into the ground and then push your spine forward, your ribs forward. Exhale. Inhale, look over one shoulder. Exhale back to center. Inhale the other shoulder. Exhale back to center. Come on to your side. Keep your spine nice and long. Bring yourself up. Let's prepare for the final posture of the day, Shavasana. Take your blanket up to the top of the mat. When you come down onto the ground, keeping the front of your spine open, bring yourself to the side, all the way down. Let your head be supported by the blanket. Let your head do a couple of neck rolls side to side. Release any tension that may be in your body. Take your legs long and wide, arms down alongside the body, and let everything go. Stay with your breath.
Udare apare, Hariyam Kariyam, Nirmame Akame, Govinde Mukande, 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 Udare apare, Hariyam Kariyam, Nirmame Akame. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness down to your feet as you start to wiggle your toes. Move your feet a little more, lower legs. And bend your knees, put your feet flat. Bring your awareness to your fingers, start to wiggle the fingers. Bend your arms. Draw one knee at a time into your chest, rocking side to side. All the way onto your side. Using your hand to push away from the ground, leading with your shoulder. Coming up to the seated position. Bring your hands together at your chest. Push your hands into your heart into your hands. We'll close with a humming sound to let everything settle. Take a big exhale. Big inhale. Bowing in gratitude. Namaste. Well,
Today was definitely a challenge. And I know many of you that are here are pretty strong and can handle that challenge. So I hope that everyone did what was appropriate to them and that you feel good. Patty, good morning. All right, so how was that? Six people were able to hear me, which is good with my little survey. Let's see, another poll. Oh, okay, I have to end that poll. I'm having fun with my poll. I just learned this today. I guess I can only do one? No, here we go. Okay, here's another poll. I don't know who answers, by the way. It's anonymous. Can you guys see my poll? Good, Lynn, thanks. I know you could definitely do that. I guess I realized there's only a yes or no question on my poll. And I'm asking, was it too hard or just right? So if you say yes, it's like, how do I know, right? Oh, well, it was just fun to do that. All right. Shami, I hope you stayed with us from England. I hope everything is going well for you there. You made it safely, as I knew you would. And hopefully you knew you would too, right? Staying in the present moment always. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully you feel good. And go to my Facebook, Debbie Robinson Wellness, or my Instagram, Debbie Robinson Wellness, and go to that midlife summit that I'm on. A lot of great speakers. I heard an OB-GYN speaking this morning about really very functional, progressive way of thinking. There's so many more physicians now that I think we're actually going to be able to go to that are not going to say, you have to take a pill for anything or everything. All right. So thank you so much, ladies, for joining me, and men, if you're out there. And I will see you the next time. All right. Bye.